Uh, so I suppose without going into like too many details, obviously, I was wondering, like, how often did the idea of Half-Life 3 like seriously come up over the years before Alex was decided on?
Without going into too many details.
Yeah, I know it's like always been
Um,
like this dumb question that gets asked in interviews, like for a long
well,
time about Half-Life,
it's
but
it's not dumb because it's an obvious question, of course,
yeah,
because we never made it up to this point. Um, but it was always in the back of our minds, of course. But what happened with Valve after Half-Life 2 was that Steam was becoming coming into its own. Counter Strike was happening, and Team Fortress was happening, and this whole multiplayer shift was happening in the company where we thought this is a really interesting space we want to explore. At the same time as Gabe deciding we were going to do uh, what's it called, episodic content. We're
right.
not going to make Half-Life 3 because we've just been through 6 years of making Half-Life 2. And I don't think there was anybody in the company who would have said yes to starting work on Half-Life 3 right after that because
Yeah,
it was brutal. It was a lot of very brutal work. So um, I think it was a lot more palatable for everybody to start putting out episodic work. We didn't want to make the community wait for another 6 years before they saw any more Half-Life content. And
mhm.
so we thought, okay, we don't want to work on Half-Life 3. We want to make episode 1, 2, and 3, and then maybe that's as if we had done Half-Life 3, but you would see Half-Life content way more frequently.
Right, yeah,
Um, so at that point, I don't think people were thinking about Half-Life 3. They were thinking about delivering more content in a different way. And obviously, with episode 2, we realized that it wasn't easy for us to make that shift to, well, we're going to just push out smaller chunks of content more frequently because we just ended up doing the thing we always do at Valve, which is, well, we could make this a little better, and we could make this a little better, and like
yeah,
this
of
needs to
course.
be filled out a little bit, and this is such a good idea. We need to exploit this more, and before you know it, your your episode that's supposed to be designed in a year is now like an 8 to 9 hour experience. Like,
Yeah,
oh well, this is not working too well. So I think after episode 2 shipped, that was the orange box, and we had Team Fortress 2, which was just this incredibly popular IP internally that people really wanted to work on, and just things were shifting within Valve away from the standard gargantuan, like monolithic product that sort of comes out once every 6 years to, hey, we can iterate on this multiplayer product and keep a large audience of players engaged on a regular basis. Let's see where this goes. How is this
yeah,
going to do? Um, and the Half-Life 3 thing was like further and further into the rearview mirror. Not really sure how this was going to be part of our strategy moving forward. So it just sort of receded for a while. And then,
mhm.
of course, because of virtual reality and all that kind of stuff, it came back into the focus again. And it just was the best concept for doing a VR game.